Good morning, Kyle. Welcome back to the Cottage Ground. Obviously, fresh off our first pre-season game. Very, very different to last time we saw the boys run out in red. But firstly, today, I'm really keen to understand a little bit about what you saw, the good, the things you'd like to improve, and of course, how you feel about how yesterday's game went.
Yeah, no, it was really good to get everyone back out there. Really important to have that first friendly underway and some really good work that's happened. For the first 3 weeks have been excellent, been really positive. And to get a lot of the work in practice yesterday was really good. We've done a lot of work so far on our ability to build up and what we'll look like with the ball, building on that identity that we spoke about in that previous interview. And yeah, that was really on show yesterday. So some really exciting parts that we've managed to look at yesterday. A lot of really good individual performances. Missing quite a few players yesterday as well due to holidays, but those that stepped in did a really fantastic job. So really pleased with the start, but it is only just that. So there's plenty more to come. There's loads that we can improve on, we know that, but we want to do things differently. So we're really positive with where we're going.
Yeah, now you mentioned a couple of bits there that I've kind of picked up on, which certainly I saw as well. The first one, of course, you couldn't help but notice some of the new faces in those shirts and the notable missing faces in those shirts. As you say, there's a lot away on holiday at the moment, which is great for them. They're getting that relaxation ready for the season, which of course is going to be a long year, and so great for them to go and get that kind of rest. But certainly the ones that came in, there was a lot to be pleased with and a lot to be impressed with the faces that came in, both the younger ones and of course some of the more experienced faces that sort of stepped into those reins as well.
Yeah, I mean, we went out there with quite a young lineup yesterday. That was quite evident to see. But that's our background. You know, myself and the rest of the coaching team, we come from that background of developing young players. And we want this to be an environment where young players can come and develop and excel. And a lot of them did that yesterday. It was really good to see that. I won't speak too much about individuals and name names, etc. But there's some really talented footballers here, and we're really happy that we've got them in the building. Whether they're 17 years of age or 27 years of age, it doesn't matter to us. But what we're quite happy to do is give those opportunities to those young players. We saw 2 players from the under 18, the last season's under 18s, that have played yesterday, and you know, obviously Will in goal has got 90 minutes and a clean sheet, which is fantastic for him. Dylan has come on in the second half and you know, has contributed really well to a clean sheet as well, and looked really good on the ball. So that's 2 fantastic opportunities for the actual pathway of the club. But then alongside that, we've got some of those senior boys who've come in and they've really contributed and added something to the group. There was a lot of leadership out there yesterday, strong leadership in the changing room and on the pitch, and we're really happy with those that we've brought in. They had something that maybe we didn't have last year as a group, and to kind of add on top of that over the next few weeks is going to be really key.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned 2 there in Will and Dill, and definitely the way they've come on and the way they've developed. It's almost been a pleasure to watch them grow from being kind of young men into men, if that's not too cheesy. But certainly, I think their development has been key to what the future will hold. And certainly, I totally agree. If you're good enough, you're old enough. And certainly it's an age-old tale, but it's definitely one that I think we're harnessing here. The other thing that you mentioned there was about the identity. Now, obviously we've talked enough for you to know how important identity is to me, and how something I really sort of like to see in football, and I totally agree. It was absolutely on show for us yesterday. We did see a little change in part of the game where that identity almost started to slip and they changed the way they were playing, and certainly as an onlooker, I could see how frustrated you and the other coaching staff were to see that change, and really good to see that very quickly you managed to draw them back in and actually get that identity coming back out again. So just wanted to know how you felt about that and what that sort of meant to you.
Yeah, I think identity is really important. I think it's probably one of the most important parts of what we want to do. We won't make no kind of bones about it. We want to be different. We don't want to be the same as everybody else. We want to try and play in a different way. We want to try and be expansive where we can. And we think that we're recruiting the right players to be able to do that. Now, obviously yesterday we started the game really well, got on the ball and we were able to play the way that we wanted to do so. There was a drop off last 10 minutes of the first half. And like you say, it was about regaining that confidence on the ball understanding that we don't need to force, that we don't need to rush play, we don't need to go too long, too early, and without giving away too much about how we want to play, etc. It's, you know, we want to try and attract opposition onto us, and then can we play from there and exploit those spaces. So yeah, it was really important at half time to kind of get back into the players. Right, this is what we've been working on for the last 3 weeks. Can we get that back? Can we bring that back into that second half performance? And we did. And that second half performance, you know, I think we really nullified the opposition into their own half and kept them there really for the vast majority of the game, which is testament to the players, their hard work, their commitment, and what they can do with the ball and without it. Because, you know, it's two elements of the game that we're really key on. How we look without the ball. What does that look like? And again, you know, we spoke at the end of the game with the players about it will be challenging this year in the sense of how we want to play without the ball. We will ask a lot from them, but they know that, and that's what they're buying into. And with it, we expect them to be brave. We want brave players. We want people who are willing to accept that mistakes might happen, but then learn from it and go again, and still try and play the right way if we can do.
Yeah, absolutely love that mentality. Love that mentality of accepting mistakes. We're human, we're going to make them. But knowing how to deal with them after we've made them is far more important than trying to stop them happening in the first place, which, quite frankly, is reasonably unrealistic. Yeah. So, yeah, totally buy into that and absolutely love that as an approach. So, let's look forward a little bit. Of course, we're not going to go as far forward as the next game yet, but certainly coming off the back of our first pre-season game, we're obviously starting to get some thoughts about how we can transition that into training, what's the sort of work that we need to do to bring people back together. What are the key things that you saw yesterday that you think we can really drive forward and get even better at?
Yeah.
As you say, it was a really good performance.
We've done a lot of work over the last few weeks on build-up. What we look like with the ball when we're building out from the goalkeeper. What do we look like? What kind of patterns can we evolve throughout the pitch with and move throughout the thirds with? And we'll continue to do that work. There's loads more depth to that we can build upon. And without being too technical and analytical and things like that, we know that players need to become used to this, and they need to become really comfortable with the different patterns that they're going to produce on the pitch. And the next few training sessions will be exactly that. We'll continue working on those patterns. We'll start to build up throughout the middle third and the final third. Can we look to introduce some patterns in those areas of the pitch as well? And then the out of possession work continues as well. Can we still start to look at that press that we did so well yesterday and evolve it, make it more kind of trustworthy in the sense that, you know, we know exactly how we want to do it, but can we make sure that every time it's a success, or if it's not a success, what do we do after that to make it evolve? So there's loads more work to do. We know all the work that we've got to do. It's very well planned, you know, and yesterday just gave us confidence really that we know exactly where we're going to go as a team. And the players felt that as well. It's a really good changing room afterwards. The players know exactly where they're going to be going next season and how they're going to be doing it, which is a really important factor.
No, definitely, and I think you could see in the players' faces the atmosphere was incredible. The kind of the whole mentality, they were all there as one, and that's something that hasn't always been the case. So I think certainly a real kind of positive that you brought in from the atmosphere side of things. You mentioned also the style of play. Now, I'm obviously not going to get you to detail that too much because clearly we don't want to advertise that too much. Yeah. However, I think what was on display yesterday, there was very clear 3 different styles of play that were clearly used and clearly were in the plan. And it wasn't just about sticking to a plan, and if it doesn't work, we're just going to stick to that plan. There was a very clear understanding from the players that if this doesn't work, this may happen, and then we need to do that. Is that something that you drilled into them?
It's something that we'll continue to drill into them because look, we know, and you know, we've just spoken off camera about this, and we know that once we get to the winter periods, the pitches start to become a little bit cut up and bobbly. We're going to need to start to play in a slightly different way, but we can still keep the principles, and that's going to be really important to us. We can still keep those principles of how we want to do things, how we want to play, but just adapt it slightly, just tweak it slightly, adapt it slightly, and still have our own identity at the same time. So yeah, the players have had a lot of information so far, and testament to them, they've been fantastic. The amount of information they've had and what they've managed to retain was shown in yesterday's performance, which was really good. And over the next few weeks, it will be, you know, training sessions and games. It'll be how much can we build on that now, and how much can we look to give them that kind of full depth of right, if this doesn't work in a game, we need to do this. And they already know it. So it's not so much having a plan B, but more adapting plan A, so to speak. And we're really confident that over the next few weeks, that will show through in the performances. You know, we will come up against some teams in pre-season that will play slightly different to Cresswell yesterday, and that will show, you know, as a test, and we have to find ways to adapt to that, and I'm sure we will do.
No, definitely. And I think certainly we can agree there was exciting parts from the defensive third midsection, and of course the attacking third as well. I think we saw some expansive play out of players that maybe were here last year, were not here last year, and certainly the ones that were not settled into that so quickly. It's been really amazing to watch. I'm not going to name him because I know you don't want to do that, but certainly there was one lad certainly played out on the wings. I think he played on both wings at one point, but he was electric yesterday, taking players on, looking to get the passes in where needed, and absolutely drilling the plan. I think actually at one point I saw him run over during a break of play to ask you, just to clarify, if this happens, where do I go and what do I do? And the message was delivered really quickly, and he was able to change the way he was playing just off the back of that tiny little message. I think that was really impressive to watch.
Yeah. And that's what it needs to be. Like, we're not here to be, we're not here, as a coaching team, we're slightly different. Like, we are a very young coaching team, but we're here to do things slightly differently, and I've said that already a couple of times. We want the players to be able to come to us and ask those questions. We don't want to feel like it's an environment where they can't speak. You know, they just have to follow instruction and go to it. If they see something or feel something on the pitch that they don't feel is right or that's not working, they need to come and ask those questions. And 9 times out of 10, we've probably seen it and we can give those details in that moment. It might be something we do at half time, but it might be something we do full time in pre-season where we can look at it afterwards. But no, the players, I think, that we've got in the building so far, they really understand that the way that we want to do things is based off communication. Like, we need to be able to trust them and they need to be able to trust us. And the relationship that's been building so far with the players has been excellent. It's a fantastic changing room. It really, really is. The players that we've managed to bring in, we spoke about this before, wanting to be here, wanting to play for Wednesfield, wanting to play for us as a coaching team. It's so important. And those that we've recruited so far have been exactly that. And that, again, it shows through in the performances in the training sessions. The vibe around the training sessions has been excellent, been really, really good in every session. And then the game yesterday was exactly the same. And having that, like you say, that communication with players, the understanding to, if you're not sure about something, come and ask that question. That's exactly what we want, because we are asking a lot from them in terms of how we are with the ball, without the ball, in transition. We are asking a lot from them, and we do want to do things differently in the sense that we will take things to quite a detailed analytical view, but that's the way that we are, and some will agree with that, some won't. You know, some will say it's non-league football, why do you need to do that? Well, that's the way that we are as coaches, and if we've got players in the building that are happy to go along that route with us, then fantastic, because they're the right people that we need here. And I think, the individual that you spoke about earlier, yes, absolutely, is exactly that. And as I would say, all of them that performed yesterday were, there were some really good performances individually. Some trialists that come in yesterday and performed really, really well. And we're just looking to continue and build that now with a few announcements next week, hopefully with new signings, which will be really exciting.
Yeah, exciting times. Whatever you're doing, it's working. So let's not stop doing it. It's certainly working, regardless of whether other people think it's needed or not. Whatever. So, Kyle, let's just look one step further forward. Then we've got some next games coming up. So, it'd be really good to hear a little bit about those next games. Clearly, we want to get people excited. I know that anyone that comes to watch is definitely coming again. So it'd be good to give them a little shout out and maybe let people know what's coming.
No, I thought it was fantastic yesterday. It was so nice, and I mentioned it in the WhatsApp groups after the game. It was so nice to see so many people there supporting the first team in a first pre-season friendly, and the players then produce for them. And we want to continue and build that. So it is a message to essentially all of the support base, all of the players, the parents, the coaches throughout all the age groups at the football club, that we need them. We need them to come and support us, whether it's a pre-season friendly or whether it's a league game or a cup game, a Vars game. We need them to support us. And we want to be, look, we know on a Saturday afternoon, a lot of them might have season tickets at Wolves, West Brom, Villa, etc. But if they're away, we want to be their next port of call. You know, those people that are involved in our football club and those external, it's so important that we start attracting those people down. And that's what essentially our brand of football, the way we want to play, we want to attract those people. So playing good football and hopefully getting good results along the way, that will help. It will help. It's so important. But yeah, moving forwards into the next fixtures, obviously we've got Cannock Town next Saturday, the newly named Cannock Town, and then the fixtures will then build up from there. It will be a progressive kind of increase in ability over the pre-season in terms of what we come up against, and we're expecting that, and we're ready for it, and that will help tailor us to being ready for that 1st of August kick-off. So yeah, exciting times.
Brilliant. So next week, obviously Cannock Town.
Yeah.
Another game.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, another good performance.
Hopefully.
And at the back of good performances generally become good results. So fingers crossed, we'll be looking at another good performance, another good result, and another happy dressing room walking away from that, and another day that we can build on going into next season. So Kyle, thank you so much for your time today. It's been great to catch up, and fingers crossed for next week. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Take care.